Hey YouTube, this is going to be our first video. I am your boy Microlink, as is on the hat. It's great to meet you all. I know this is our first official video. Just to give you a little background, I've been studying and practicing mixing, mastering, and engineering for the last 8 to 10 years. I've been a DJ for 12. I did not go to school. I'm fully self-taught through YouTube videos and books and different things of experience working with other producers, things like that. And I really wanted to start trying to teach the internet, teach you guys, you know. Not that I don't feel like there's other great tutorials out there. It's just something I felt like I might be able to provide a different insight on. So, we're going to jump right into it. As you can see, I got my version of FL Studio here. We have everything all set up. When you first open it, this should be what you see for the most part. I think this would look like this. Okay. Now, I have a bunch of extra names on the left behind the webcam. Don't worry, that's just the sounds you buy where they can organize them for you. When you first open it up, you're going to be pretty much confused. It looks like a graph or like a math layout, which is annoying. So, to give you an understanding, on the top left, just like any type of Windows computer tabs, you kind of got like your general settings here. So you got File. This lets you open up new songs, we'll call them for now, or like a new project if that makes you think of it better. This is where you save your work, name it, export it, which we'll talk about a little bit. Exporting is how you turn the song you make into an MP3. And then it also has like a recent folder, just history more or less. Edit is just copy, undo. If you don't know the hotkeys, it's Control C to copy. Not undo, I meant cut. Control C to copy, Control X to cut. It's really good to study the hotkeys, by the way. If there's something that you do a lot and you wish that it could be done by pressing a button, in FL generally, like let's say I like to use the paintbrush feature, which I never use. I hover over this little paintbrush icon, and you'll see in the top left corner of the screen, right up here, or right here, the name changes as I hover over things. And it tells you right next to it, on the right of that, what key you have to press. So it said right next to this knob, B, when I hovered over it. So if we press B, Shift B, gotta hold Shift, it will give us the paintbrush. And then if we want the pencil, it's P. So Shift P, now we have the pencil. That'll be more important later. You have patterns. Now, I never go to the patterns area in my FL Studios in order to create new patterns. Patterns are basically like bars, if you know what that is in music, or loops. They're like when you just play like the same drums over and over, or the same little melody on a piano. Or if you ever seen an artist that when they're recording on stage, they play one part of the guitar and then a pedal loops everything and they play on top of that and it builds a song. Kind of like that. I'll show you how I do that. You also have view. I never touch this. This is a lot of the different options in FL that you can get to naturally. Options, which you'll need to know this when you're setting up FL for the first time. As far as setting up FL and audio options, we'll go through that in just a second. Actually, you know what? I might do a separate video just on that because it can be quite complicating. Tools, I never really go into anything up here, but tools are important. The only thing I'll use is if you hover over tools, these last tweak section, basically that lets you undo certain things that are more automation, but don't worry about that. Dump score logic, this I like a lot. I use this all the time. So let's say you're playing something on your piano. I have a piano over here, right? And I'm playing the piano, getting real into it, over top of like other things like drums, let's say, and a bass. And I really loved it, but I didn't hit record. And I don't think I could play that back again. If you go into tools, dump score, select pattern, these numbers here last 2, 5, 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That'll take everything you played and put it in. So it does record it technically. That's one of the biggest features. Riff machine's fun. We'll talk about that when we write our first song. And then general help options. So now let's get into the important stuff, guys. Over here, this knob, main volume. I like to keep it. See how there's a little dot that turns on when I hit this point here? I like to keep it, and it'll tell you right under File, you'll see main volume, and it moves the percentage. I keep it at 100. I don't mess with that unless I have to. This, pat, and song. Pat is those loops I was talking about. Song is what we have in front of us on this grid. This is called the playlist view almost. It more so is your song, like everything in the song. So right now we don't have anything. If I hit play, there's nothing there, but you see this. And what this is the song trying to play something. If there was stuff to play, it would keep going. So that's telling you what's happening at the beginning of your song, where in the song things are going on, stuff like that. If you click song, it's going to play only what's in here. So we have nothing. So if I click, I wrote something beforehand. If I click this in, you hear sound. See, I get rid of it and it's gone. Now if we click pattern, it's playing. But why and where? Well, normally you're going to have a pattern with nothing in it. And actually when you open FL, let me get a new one, it's going to look something like this. Minus this top part, kick, clap, hit, hi-hat, snare. This is how it'll open. I beforehand wrote a pattern. So you can see this is actual music that I wrote. I put this in, and if we hit play, you'll see now that it's playing this. That's awesome. How did we do that? So let's go to pattern 2. Basically, let's say we had nothing. You just click. These are kicks, so we click. Hit play. There you go. Easy. That if you write something in here and you're like, why isn't it playing? And you see this in the background or you see it's on song, it won't play the pattern. So you just got to be careful of that. In the beginning, that always messed me up a lot. These numbers we'll get to, and how to get new things in here, we will get to in just a sec. Next to that, you have the play pause button of whatever you're in. Stop, which if you double click will rewind it to the beginning. Your record button, a beautiful thing that we will get to. This number is how fast or slow your song is. It's called BPM or beats per minute. This is a fast or slow tempo. It depends on what it is. I like different tempos depending on what kind of music I'm making. Next to that, you have this button here. Now this button here is going to be your metronome. No metronome? Metronome. A lot of people need that. Very important, and to help you stay in time when you're playing. Wait for input to start playing is good. Basically, it won't start playing until I play something. So also something good if you need to start right at the beginning. This will be off, but I turn this on. This is, and don't worry about these two. This is a countdown before recording. We're not going to worry about recording today. This is more recording things. These are just options for recording. We'll get a whole nother video on setting up audio and recording instruments. This is just kind of getting you started with built-in features, not putting new things in. This is an important button when you're beginning. If you don't have a keyboard on hand, you click this, and this will, when you type in the keyboard, it types like a piano. And it'll play it just like a piano. Turn it off, nothing. So it depends on what you want. This button next to it, if I was playing something, like let's do this. I'm going to put this all the way over here. Let's say I'm zoomed in all the way, which you can do. If you click this, once the green bar goes past where you're zoomed in, it automatically moves. To zoom in, by the way, hold control and scroll the mouse. And make sure your cursor is inside of here. If it's up here, it won't do it. It'll just do this, which can be confusing. So, another good technique. As far as this, I never use this or know what it does. Never use this. It's always on. And I never mess with this because we'll get into with recording and MIDI instruments. Up here is just the time where your marker's at. So this green dot, if I were to move it over here, 22 seconds. If I click it, tells you milliseconds, I believe that is. Or counts in bars. Next to that, this is just your CPU stuff. And the sound waves here, the CPU processing stuff's here. Don't worry about that. This is undo. Very important button, or Control Z. I never use Open New Audio Edit. I never do one-click recording because I like to set up my recording on my own. This lets you save stuff as or render audio. Rendering audio is taking whatever it is and turning it into like an MP3 file. It's actually called a WAV file. It's a different musical file format. It can really help if you have a low processing computer or not a high-end computer. And the program itself, because FL Studio is very highly intensive, is causing issues with the computer. That's the best way to think about it. You can render out audio in order to help with that. Let's see. Don't use this. Don't use this. Okay. Another real important thing are these buttons down here. This is pattern. This is what we were talking about earlier. So you can either click the arrow key and see all your patterns. You can scroll in this wheel to create new and also scroll through ones you already have, or click the plus button to create a new one and type in a name like drums. And now over here and up here it says drums. Now if we open this, we have our pattern I wrote, and then we have one that says drums. Find first empty. That just creates a new one in chronological order for what you have open. I don't use any of those. Select in playlist, I only use if I can't find it. You can rename, recolor things here. You can insert more. You can move them out of order if you needed to. I never need to do that. But that's your patterns. Whatever pattern it says up here, when you click, it's going to put that pattern into the song playlist. So pattern 1, you can click them over here on the left, or mouse wheel up here, or drop down, whichever is easier. Next to that is this. This button gets rid of the song playlist, as it's called, or the actual songwriting itself, and brings you to, if you have nothing, the FL desktop screen, I would call it. So we have that. This button here brings you into the piano roll. Now, I don't use this button because it brings you into whatever's currently selected. Piano roll is a visual piano that you can type notes on. So, if I were to do this, see? And it'll autoplay. Let me move this. There we go. Now, see how if I write this really long past the number 2, it goes to the number 3? These bold number lines are 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, FL will automatically, if you're in pattern, play the pattern and count to 4. So that's kind of how that works. If you want it to be short, you got to cut it before those big lines right here. 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, see? Highlight everything as Control A, and then I delete with the delete button on the keyboard. It's just another way to learn those shortcuts that really help. Sorry, I had to crack my neck. Anyway, what I normally do is use this button a lot, right here, the third button. This is your channel rack. So this is where all the instruments get put in. So here's an example of, let's do our drum rack. I click drums, I click this button, boom, brings the drums. And a hotkey for that, F6. See? Nice and easy. Where are we at for the time? Oh, it doesn't actually tell. Oh, 13 minutes. Perfect. Anyway, F6. So we take F6, it opens this. Now, over here on the left behind my webcams are a bunch of files. FL does come with built-in stuff. I honestly have been using it for so long, I couldn't tell you what they are or if they're worth it. I would say go spend $20 or go on Reddit, look up some free samples. There's tons of them. If you reach out to me, I might set up a Discord subscribers channel reward where we give out starter FL samples, where it's a couple kicks and a couple snares that should help you really start making music and inspire you. I'll work on that over the next few months. I think it's these packs, so you'll go over here and you should see packs eventually. They have like drums, so here we go, drums, kicks. What am I feeling? Let's do a hip-hop beat. So I'm going to put it in, and I click and drag it from over here, and either put it on top of one of these blocks to replace it, or just let it drop in, and it'll give me a new one. And there you go. That's your sound. You can click this to make it up here or go away. This is a detailed map that we'll get into in more detailed videos that we can mess with the sound. But this is basics. If I want to delete one, like the kick that they put in here, I don't like it. And if you want to play the sound, hold Control, right-click. I like our kick better. So right click it without control, and this will give you some options. I'm just going to do the delete option for right now. But what I wanted to show you is you can do writing in two ways. You can click here. So we'll put our metronome on. Dun, 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 dun. Or if I hold right click and go over, it deletes it. Hold left click to put in notes. Just left click to put these in. By the way, the reason they're different colors, 1, 2, 3, 4. First count, 1, 2, 3. Second, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just counts of 4. 4 counts of 4 make a bar. I think I need some water. I don't have any over here. It's fine. Anyway, the numbers to the left we'll get into later. That's important, but not right now. That's going to be more mixing and level 2 stuff. This is just a brief getting started. So we got a sound. Let's go over here. We need a hi-hat. First thing we see, we're just going to put it over these. What do they have? Oh, I delete that one. And a snare, okay. I like that snare. Put it over that one. So now we have our own sounds. Now, what I'm going to do is, let's say we wanted to put a piano in here. How? Where do we even get a piano sound? So you right-click any of these sounds and open up this menu I was telling you about. If we go to Insert, it'll give us a whole bunch of options. Now, these are all different things. And they are in categories. I would say stick to citrus. It's exactly what you're looking for. And it's sounds, like piano sounds. Now, once you're in here, this is a very confusing layout. Don't touch anything. Don't worry about it. This up here, it says presets. You click this. Boom! A big menu appears that you can't see. You can see it over here, but you can't see it on this screen on FL for the video. I'm sorry. These are sounds. Find a sound? I don't know. We said piano, right? ARP, brass, bass, chromatics, drums. A DX7 is a piano, but you probably wouldn't know that. Piano. Here we go. Chorus 2. See? Piano. Now, microlink. How do I write piano keys? I don't have a piano to record me playing. If you don't have a MIDI piano that just lets you play, like I do, you can right-click the sound, so chorus EP2, and hit piano roll. That's going to bring this up. This is that piano thing. Whole piano. Beautiful. Okay. If we click, it'll put a note. Now, the highlights are just white keys are highlighted, black keys are darker colored. You can change this. We're not going to go into that. You're going to leave it as is. Now, when it comes to music theory, knowing which notes work, you can either use your ear and see if it sounds good. So let's see. This is every single note, right? Now, music goes from C to C, so they sound good together. Now, I want to make a melody. So, out of those, let's start one that we like. We're going to do like hip-hop. Hip-hop's usually shorter notes, so. And we're going to make it slower because this is way too fast. So to do that, remember up here, I said this is our speed. We're going to take this and just click and move our mouse up and down. Or you can right-click and hit type in value. Now, generally, people, or you can do it another way, but generally people don't know what they, either know the number or don't. If you don't know what number you want, right-click, and up here it says tap, or there's presets. Here's 80, 90. Let's do tap. Now, think in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I dun 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 1 dun dun 2 3 dun 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 1 dun dun dun. So it says 75. Boom! It made our song 75. Now let's see. Dun dun. We want dun 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 Boom, ba-na, boom, ba-na, boom, ba-na-na. And that's it. So, boom, ba-da-da. Now, so if I want to move a bunch of notes, hold control, hold down left click and highlight. Otherwise, just move them normally. So I think that will sound good. Actually, this. Now, music theory, we're in E. I want to write E minor. These are the notes allowed in E minor. I just know that because I know music theory. Looks like everything I picked is in E minor except for this F. So we just do this. That sounds cool. Now, let's say we want to have that happen again. We can go out here and either type them all in again, but that kind of sucks. So what I do is I hold control, hold down, left click, highlight, hold down shift, left click and drag, and hold them down the whole time. This will let me move all of it. So I just move it. Remember those lines tell you timing, so metronome, so we know we're in timing. Now I want it to be different here. So in my head, you want to be able to sing everything you write. So in my head I went dun 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 dun, and I think down, up, down, down, up, down, dun, 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 and this was probably lower in my head, and this was probably higher. Dun, 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 now we want this part to be different. And that's just me thinking the notes and knowing how they sound on here. That sounds cool. So now we have this and it goes here. I hit escape to get out of that. Now we have a kick, right? Let's put kicks in. So if I'm thinking, I want boom, 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 boom. Metronome if you need it. Every metronome hit is the first color in each set of 4, by the way. That sounds good. Now I need a snare. That sounds awesome, right? Now we have a hi-hat. Hi-hats I generally do every 4 or 2. To do that, all you have to do is right-click and see this, fill each 2, fill each 4. Start with fill each 4. Now whenever I say right-click and you can't see it, you'll know the options are right there. You can follow along with the video. And if you can't find that, it's 1, 2, 3, every first color. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds cool. We have a track. I like a little more in my hi-hat, so I'm gonna double that by just adding another one in between each one. This is called 2s. I feel like it adds more energy. Cool. Now, Tom, what if you want your drums to be louder? Or microlink, sorry. What if I want my drums to be louder? Well, go to your kick and you click it. It'll open this. And you hit Control and L. Now, what is that going to do, microlink? It's going to open up this, and we don't know what this is. This is what's called a mix board. This is where you want to put your sounds, and you have to put them there. Now, I'm going to hit Escape, go back to this. You can move this number to put it on any number in the mix channel that I just showed you, or change the number over here. I like my kicks on 1. Makes it easy to remember. Now, if you need that back up, this button, remember these 3 buttons up here, 1, 2, 3? To the next to the one that brought up our pattern or channel rack is the mix board. Master is the whole thing. Don't ever touch anything on there. Nothing on there. You see how there's this fruity limiter? If that's on there, I recommend getting rid of it. Just left click, delete comes up, get rid of it. You don't want it. They're trying to help you, but they're hurting you, I promise. Never put anything on your master. Where we put kick, number 1 at the top is the number 1. It says the name of the kick, we're good to go. Now this is because these are volume bars. Okay, see I move it up and down, and I know it's harder to see because of the webcam. But I move it up and down, I'll do it over here, and this is how loud it is. So if I take the kick, and I move it all the way down and play, no kick. I bring it up, ready? And you can see a representation right above it. So, the first couple are already in a number, okay? Click this to bring this back up, and you can see the numbers. You can just assign them yourself. So I want my snare to be number 2 because I like it next to my kick. Hats are going to be number 3, my piano number 4. Keep it easy. We go in here. We can see them all. Now these are not named because I just manually put them to the number. So you can right click and rename them here. Whatever you want. See, it says snare now. Now, what I like to do is make everything quiet, except for my main element, and I really want the kick to be the main element. So now, I put this here, and that sounds good. My snare, a little loud, but not as loud as the kick. Hat, quieter than the snare. And now we bring our piano back. Now this is called mixing. This is just your base level mixing. It's important to at least do this, but I will definitely get into more complex stuff in mixing tutorials. That's just to get you started and make sure that your sounds are where you want them. Now I'm gonna do a bunch of other stuff. This is called panning. This is all mixing. I'm only doing this because it just sounds better when you do these things. I would also put all these drums on a drum rack and add compression. We're not going to go over that. I just want to be able to have you guys get in and start putting down some either beats or some drum patterns or some music. Really get an idea of what you need to do. And please, in the comment section, ask me what questions you have, what I missed. I'll make a follow-up video of everything you guys asked. You know, I just not sure exactly where to start. It's been 10 years. So this has been about 30-minute video. I taught you how to write something in, taught you about the piano roll, the mixer. Don't worry about these other buttons for now. The stuff up here comes into play later. What I'll go over before we end is how to put it into the song. So we made this. Remember this? Okay, that was called drums because that's what we typed in the pattern here. We click this, drums. All this came up. I can put down a bunch of them wherever I want. You want to keep them all, hold right click to delete, click left click to put them in. You want to keep them in timing, so make sure you're on song. Remember, that's this view. We're going to put down what I wrote a little farther, just because that's how I like it. And then we're going to fill this, and we're going to play. And now you can see our song is in the pattern, and it's playing. If I want to zoom in, I can just control and mouse wheel, move this to scroll. And I think that's a good straight introduction to FL. That's kind of giving you an idea of the UI, where to find stuff if you have nothing and you're just using what it comes with fresh out of the box, you know. I'll get into more details later. Oh, I don't think I put drums on this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. And let me know in the comments below if you have any other suggestions for future videos, more questions about this, what the next video should be in the tutorial. I'm going to get some ideas of my own together, but we're also going to put up some video game clips every now and then. Maybe short stream condensed videos. Just a bunch of music content and fun stuff that I like to do. If you guys want to check me out, we go live on Twitch all the time. My name is DJ Microlink. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for checking out the channel, guys. Have a wonderful night and stay safe out there. Microlink Extravaganza out!